think it's tough for him because I can guard him and he can't guard me. Like, at the end of the day, that's what it comes down to. But like I said, I think you just got to watch your mouth in certain situations. There's something that you just don't say as a man. And, I mean, he got to see me the next time because I feel like what he said was truly disrespectful. And it's all good because we see him again. I ain't scared of nobody. So, you know, he talking about, oh, we're going to fight, this, that. It is what it is to me. He's not even in my league, like nowhere near me. And if I was their coach, I would never put him on me ever again. He's like, no, put somebody else on me because I'm a Taz every time we play.
Well, you just heard it from Jimmy Butler right there concerning the altercation that he had last night with T.J. Warren. Heat versus Pacers. Let's get into it, guys. First of all, I am Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. YouTube and Patreon is all at Drew Duncan Radio. And do not forget that I am wherever you're listening to podcasts. Simply tell your device to play Drew Duncan on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, etc. First of all, this whole thing with Jimmy Butler and T.J. Warren, the game was pretty much a blowout to begin with anyways. The Miami Heat were dominant. And then this whole thing happens. Look, I don't know if this was T.J. Warren just getting upset or whatever, but the initial foul was Butler driving to the rack, and T.J. Warren grabbed him by the left arm, spun him around. Butler took exception to that, got in his face, because we understand what's going on there, right? All right? T.J. Warren is just frustrated. He understands that maybe he can't guard Jimmy Butler like he just said. And he has a frustration foul. Butler gets in his grill about it. Look, man, I understand that maybe there was something going on beforehand that we don't know about, jawing and stuff all night. But Butler initially got in T.J. Warren's face, to be fair. And then from there, the jaw jacket from T.J. Warren was, and if anybody was out there reading lips, talking about he's going to beat his ass and all kinds of stuff was going on. So then it starts to spill over. Both guys end up getting technical fouls right there, all right? Which to me is legit, very legit, okay? Now after that, Jimmy Butler has the ball, and he decides to give T.J. Warren a nice little shoulder jab, a shoulder check, let him know he's still there. He gets a foul for it, and then T.J. Warren starts clapping. He's clapping in his ear, basically, and he's running his mouth a little bit. And then the official decides, oh, no, bro. I'm going to go ahead and eject you. He ejects him, and then that's it. And then he starts flipping him off. T.J. Warren does. He's flipping off Jimmy Butler. He's pointing at his meat and potatoes. You know what's going on there. And Jimmy Butler starts blowing him kisses. And T.J. Warren gets tossed. Jimmy Bucket stays in the game. What bothers me is from that moment where Jimmy Butler hits him with that shoulder jab, to me from there, T.J. Warren is just doing what he should be doing. Yeah, he's egging him on a little bit, but, that kind of taunting, I just don't understand the ejection behind it. And then after that, of course, T.J. gets mad because he understands that Jimmy's getting away with stuff here. And he's just, he's celebrating. I mean, if Jimmy wasn't even really responding to it. He just kept on walking. And I understand that the officials are trying to get a hold of a situation and that, they're trying to control the flow of the game and they don't want, malice in the palace to happen again. But the real reality of it is I don't feel like T.J. Warren clapping at that moment should have been a tech. I think they should have just gone up to him and said, hey, chill out. If you can't chill out, then I'm going to hit you with another tech, bro. And then Jimmy, if they're going to get rid of him for that, for the clapping part, because it wasn't the aftermath that got T.J. Warren ejected. Regardless of what the announcer said in that situation, that was not what happened there. What happened there was they were just trying to control something, and then T.J. Warren responded the way he did after the fact. You understand? Now, if they were going to do that, then Jimmy Bucket's blowing kisses, then absolutely they should have got rid of him too. I mean, if you're going to, do one to the other, I mean, What's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? I mean, don't talk to me about woulda, coulda, shoulda. And if it's not reviewable, because it's obviously happening, and if it's not reviewable, then they need to make stuff like that reviewable. Because from what I saw, look, man, these guys weren't going to go at it. That was never going to happen to me. I understand that you can't take the risk, and I know, Jimmy's running hard smack right now, saying that, I can guard him, but he can't guard me, and that's what he's really mad about, and all those kinds of things. I get all that. Stuff you should never say to another man, yada, yada, yada. I get all that. But all that bumping your gums right now really, to me, shouldn't even matter. It shouldn't even be happening. You should just be letting it go after the fact. But Jimmy's kind of keeping it going, and he's egging it on, just like he did in the game. And to me, TJ Warren's initial response after that shoulder check was just fine. And I think the officials just got a little overzealous in that moment and created something bigger. See, now we have something bigger. It wouldn't have gone to the level that it is right now, I don't think, if the referees just would have said, look, man, chill out. Chill out. Okay? We caught him. We know what he's doing. Just marinate. But for whatever reason, they decided to toss him, and then they let Jimmy stay in the game too. See, I don't know. I've always had this thing where I've never really understood why in hockey and in baseball, stuff like this gets celebrated. But for some odd reason, in basketball and football, it's not. I think there comes a time when we just need to let guys kind of go a little bit. Look, man, when you're out there, there's a lot of different emotions that are boiling over on a consistent basis. I mean, you think we as fans are feeling some type of way watching these games. Imagine how the guy who's actually competing is feeling in that moment, especially when you're getting your ass handed to you. Let's keep it really real. Maybe to a degree, Jimmy is right about the fact that he's just ticked off that he can't guard him. But to me, what I see is a guy who's just pissed off that they're not winning. And they're getting their asses handed to them. And I really feel like the whole thing could have been really, because, the officials did a really good job of initially stepping in right when buckets got in Warren's face initially, and they sealed all that off. I just feel like they created more drama than what really needed to be there. Because, if somebody gets ejected, you think they're just going to walk off the floor like, oh, okay, thanks, man. You guys have a good night. You did the right thing, sir. No. By that time, dude, you're too angry to start going, well, maybe the refs are right. Come on, get serious. You know what I mean? It's almost like they knew what they were doing when they did that in a way. Regardless, the whole situation is what it is. I'm sure the league is probably going to end up taking a hard look at this to assess what is going on and, any fines or whatever is going to be levied, because obviously we've got another ejection to talk about coming up here in a little bit with Kemba Walker. But the point of the matter is simply this. It ends up being kind of an is what it is situation, the way that Bucket said that it is. And like I said, I feel like Warren shouldn't have been ejected, but if you were going to toss him, then you definitely should have got rid of Jimmy as well. And so I feel like the way that it was handled initially by the officials was very spot on. And then later on, I felt like, they did okay. Guys, I am Drew Duncan. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is all at Drew Duncan Radio. Additionally, you can find me on YouTube and Patreon. Look for Drew Duncan Radio, and I am wherever you're listening to podcasts. Simply tell your device to play Drew Duncan on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, etc. I am wherever you're listening to podcasts. And as always, don't you dare touch that dial.